when we talk about women being stupid, men are stupid all the time too. Men are the morons that are ending up in fucking jail all the time because they can't like stop punching shit.
Here's the thing, women need us, we don't need them. Let's be honest here, you guys don't give a fuck about what they gotta say. You guys are here for us. Nobody cares about what women gotta say. They're the suckiest podcasters. Female YouTubers suck. Nobody gives a fuck about their opinion.
Women make sandwiches. You're stupid. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, I'm bored already.
All right. Again, I'm still trying to figure out why she's talking. This is not a kitchen. I don't know what's going on right now. Look, the reality is that when it comes to feminism, etc., women are stupid. Let's be honest about this. And the reason why, right, it's not just, and she said it herself, misogyny isn't something new. She's right. In ancient China, to the Middle East, to Eastern Europe, everybody knew that women are so we need to make them second-class citizens. So that's why they don't have the right to vote and do a lot of stuff. And then now
what an eloquent argument. I never could have come up with something that intelligent.
She's acting like a woman right now. Holy
woman.
crap. I let her speak and now she won't let me speak. So it's interesting to me how she said, oh yeah, this isn't something new. Yeah, you're right. Everyone since ancient times knew that women we need to make them second-class citizens. Here's the craziest part. They lived in other ends of the world and they still realize the Asian dudes, ling bing ding, all the way to the fucking Mohammeds in the Middle East, to the Eastern Europeans of the Slav, they all knew, damn, women are stupid. We need to go ahead and put them in the kitchen. Now they're out the kitchen, and what's going on? Society is crumbling.
Which civilization of all the ones that you listed do you like the most? Do you like modern America, or do you like Saudi Arabia, or do you like, ancient Japan? Which one do you like the most?
Well, look, I like any society that has women under control, and right now we don't, which is why shit is fucked up.
So why don't you move to Saudi Arabia? They don't have the right to vote. They can barely drive.
Yeah,
like what?
It's a great place.
Do you want Sharia law?
No, that's true. They can drive now. They can drive.
They can drive, and that's bad.
Wait, are you? But be honest.
So you think that Saudi Arabia is a better country than America?
When it comes to handling women, yes. Yes, when it comes to handling
just overall,
women, yes.
don't change the question.
And
don't run away from
crime is
it.
less in Saudi
Do you
Arabia,
think?
though.
Well, they have less crime.
You were talking about these global things about how when women are oppressed, that's been the societal trend. And so I asked you, modern America decided, along with a whole bunch of Western democracies, and I think you like Western civilization, that's a bad idea. And so the question is, why is America so great if Saudi Arabia's got this one thing so well? What? Shouldn't that be the great country?
You could be better in different ways, right? Like
so Muslim theocracies got it.
No, I didn't say that.
Oh.
What I'm saying is, here's the problem, right? When you have women having too much power, it creates a lot of issues because women are communitarian by nature, right? They don't know what the fuck they want to do. They can't even decide what they want to eat, let alone pick their own partners. That's why the divorce rates are through the fucking roof.
Wait, time out. You guys admit it's hard for women to choose what to eat, though, Kat. Is that true? Can we at least agree on that?
Yes, but it also could be all this nicotine gum I'm always chewing.
Okay,
never that hungry.
That is typically my girlfriend. It is hard for women to choose where to eat. I think you're 100% right about that.
Sure, but we also are negating the fact that some of the biggest breakthroughs in ecology science come from the humanitarian approach that women have. DNA was discovered by women. So the issue is that women are decently valuable. When we talk about women being stupid, men are stupid all the time too. Men are the morons that are ending up in fucking jail all the time because they can't stop punching shit.
You made a good point. I think. Wait.
Is Frederick Meischer a woman? DNA was first identified by Swiss chemist Friedrich Meischer.
Yeah, they were trying to take credit for our stuff. They also said they were trying to say Wi-Fi was made by women. No, it wasn't. It was made by men as well. Women don't invent anything. They don't contribute to anything besides. To be honest, the only real value women have is reproductive
I contribute more to the economy than you do, Myron, just objectively.
Wait, I want to say I'm on Kat and not Sarah's side, though, that don't you think women are equally valuable to society, though? You don't think so?
Dude, if you remove sex and reproduction, they provide almost nothing.
Yeah, but those are we wouldn't have life without those things.
Sure. But I want to be clear about this. We don't need them. Here's the thing. Women need us. We don't need them. We need them to propagate society for the next generation. That's my point. I said outside of reproduction. So, if we want to have kids, yes, we need them, but they need us for everything. So the reality is men bring far more value to society than women do. The only real value they provide is reproductive value. Because let's be honest here, you guys don't give a fuck about what they got to say. You guys are here for us. Nobody cares about what women got to say. They're the suckiest podcasters. Female YouTubers suck. Nobody gives a fuck about their opinion. We're just there for the tits.
Isn't some of the largest podcasts, all Candace Owens, Call Her Daddy, some of the largest podcasts are female run.
To be fair,
Candace Owens is an exception.
It doesn't matter if you don't like them. The point is that they're highly successful. So maybe you guys don't like to listen to women, but that doesn't mean that broader society doesn't. For example, take women out of the workforce. You've nuked your economy overnight. It's done. They contribute, even if we're being mild and conservative, 30%,
well, that'd
probably
be good
around 50%.
That'd be good for the airline pilot industry, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that save us a lot?
I don't know. It seems like there's a lot more going on with the airline pilot industry than just women.
But women are usually taking social jobs like teachers and nurses and stuff like that.
Yeah, we need those jobs.
We do, but we need petroleum engineers more.
I would disagree. We need to raise our children.
I mean,
I would like literate children.
Public schools. Ooh, that's a hot take. Public schools are shit.
But we should still be teaching our kids. We want our kids to be literate.
I agree. And I think
we need nurses,
women are great teachers,
right? Like every one of you has been to a hospital, and you're probably super grateful that there's an entire help industry oriented at making sure that your ass doesn't die. Especially a lot of your fat asses don't die.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I can feel the tension. I
was just gonna say.
Guys, wait,
real quick, though, I do want to say thank you guys for being here. Give yourselves a round of applause. Seriously. And this is our third time doing it here. And I have to say that last week was a little tense with Michael Malice, but you can feel the tension up here. I kind of like this debate, and we want to encourage you guys to all come up, whatever you guys, whether you have a question or a debate topic, it's no holds barred. Just say whatever you want to say. And we're going to do that here in a second. But Tim, I mean, I'm liking this, the energy up here. It's a little different this week.
There's an interesting split between the civics of it and the dating element of it. So you were saying that...
And the morality.
Sure. What's the morality argument?
I think that feminism is morally good.
What does that mean?
I think...
What does morally good mean?
In like a Christian Aristotelian kind of way.
That's
like
my question.
Western, all of our Western systems absolutely value things
let me
like
ask this
agency.
Real quick, just define feminism.
Sure. Feminism is, here, I always write it down so I can always cite it. Feminism, the empowerment of women's agency and the promotion of femininity.
What is femininity?
Femininity would be like the
Being
emergent
pretty.
things that we see. Nurturance, typically like empathy and kindness. All the things that we typically see in a Western society that would go, yeah, that's feminine by and large. Understanding, these sorts of things.
Things they identify as feminine as femininity?
Typically, yeah,
Basically.
but like what's masculine? What's masculinity? The things that we kind of
I don't think
identify with
women have
men.
empathy.
Bears, drinking big
I don't think-
beers.
Well, it's like things like bravery
Chopping
and
lumber.
strength, right? It's things like being like protective, right? These are the things that we like see in all of our stories as masculine or feminine.
You guys are going to get your chance. Everybody shut the fuck up.
Is femininity then related to like nurturing,
Yeah,
having babies?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think that's good.
Hot take. I think women actually lack empathy. Contrary to them saying that they have empathy, I think women have sympathy. They can feel sorry and compassion for sure. But when it comes to empathy, especially to the masculine experience, they don't have it at all. I would argue most women don't know what men want. They don't know what men are interested in. They don't know what it takes to keep a man around, which is why most girls can't even stay in a relationship long term or get married. And let's be honest here, the reason why they're not empathetic is because there's no need to be empathetic because men approach them. Since men approach them and they do the courting and they have to do everything up front, especially at the beginning, a lot of women aren't empathetic to the masculine experience because they don't have to be. Versus men, we have to be empathetic to women, otherwise we don't get laid.
Yeah, you're
There's a
very
burden of performance
empathetic
on
to
us.
women.
No, well, here's the thing. I understand you guys, which is why I don't respect you. So that's why, because the reality is, if you understand women, there's no way you can respect them as an equal because they're inferior in almost every way.
Well, in what
what does
ways?
that mean in
I just
Yeah,
don't
in what ways?
understand why you would
Like
say
in
that.
sports.
Sure.
Yeah,
I mean, here's the thing. You can either respect them as an equal, right? Or you don't respect. Like, my thing is, I understand women. So since, therefore, I understand women, I cannot respect you guys as equals because you guys have a completely different worldview. You guys are inferior in almost everything that matters.
Like in
And,
what? Like what? Name
Yeah,
the
you
things.
keep
you
that
guys
saying
are
that
weaker,
over, I'm
dumber,
stupid, blah,
smaller,
blah, blah. I'm
like,
bored.
Weaker,
like-
dumber,
yeah, literally, like,
less
yeah.
fit, less strong.
well,
but
yeah,
by these
you guys are
standards,
inferior.
your co-host is inferior to you in every way because he's weaker. He doesn't
he's still
exercise
superior
as much.
to you.
He's
So
not as strong.
that's my point.
That's not what. Well, the issue is. Well, the
He's
issue
still
is.
superior to you, though.
Well, the issue is on the thing. Well, actually, not really. I think I'm actually fitter than Fresh. He's stronger than me, but I think I'm literally fitter than him. And also, when it comes to debates, I tend to do better than him in debates. All the things that you tend to value are the things that he's inferior. The issue is. Hold on, just so it's clear.
Can you open a pickle jar?
I don't think that Fresh is inferior because I don't think that only these things matter to the value of a person. When we talk about things like the Western civilization tradition, if you guys actually care about the American project and what this means, we have to get real about the things that are the precepts of what we believe in. This is things like Christian theology and Aristotelian thinking. And in these precepts, everyone assumes that there is going to be a variety of ways in which people are beneficial, but we don't typically give inferior or superior because we recognize, for example, that while Fresh is not as strong as a debater as you, he's so so good at networking. He's really personable. He's really good at like connecting people, and you value that. Whereas women are strong at other things. We don't have to be equal. We just need to be valuable.
But isn't there like you said Christian?
You know how Noah laughed because that's like the oldest joke that's ever been told. Women make sandwiches. You're stupid. Blah blah blah. It's like I'm bored already.
All right. Again, I'm still trying to figure out why she's talking. This is not a kitchen. I don't know what's going on right now.
There it is again.
It's crazy.
I think it's great when you talk, though, because a lot of times people say that there's no need for feminism anymore. And then people hear you talk, and you're saying that, you know, women should all be owned by men and all these other things that you say. And people might think differently. A lot different new audience is going to see you thanks to me being on this panel. You're welcome, by the way.
Who are you again? I don't even know who is this female? I don't even know.
She's the co-host of the highest rated.
Okay. Well, no one watches mainstream media anymore anyway, so that's fine.
What, do you actually think women should be owned, Myron? As she said, do you believe that?
I mean, it's kind of funny. She's over here, all this blah, blah, but she's married, which is a male-led institution, which is interesting to me. So it's like she's buying into it, even though she's trying to sit here and be like, I'm kind of like, I'm a feminist, but at the same time, I'm married, blah, blah, blah. It's like, pick one, man. You serve under a man. So it's like, I don't even know why she's talking. So,
I serve under a man?
Yeah, you're married to a guy, which marriage in itself is a male-led institution.
See, not my marriage.
Oh,
yeah, we're equal.
So you wear the pants in your.
We're equal partners in my marriage. I know that's crazy. But
the concept of equality is a lie. It's not true. One is always the leader. Who's the leader in your relationship? Who's the decision maker? You or him?
Depends on the thing.
This doesn't make one person more or less morally valuable. Who's the main leader in the relationship?
You or him?
It depends on the thing. We are equal partners. We've been through a shit ton together.
Crap.
A lot of stuff together, especially recently. And I love him very much. He loves me very much. And I would never have a child with somebody who didn't see me as a person. I see a lot of posts on the internet about like the fertility problem and why aren't women having kids? And you look at the comments and you see why maybe women don't want to have kids with, it ain't the women that are the problem a lot of the times. There's a lot of problems with talking about women, why don't women want to have kids, and not enough talk about why men aren't becoming, in some cases, the kind of partners that women would want to have a child with. I did not meet someone I'd want to have a child with until I met my husband when I was 30 years old.
Still trying to figure out who the leader is here.
But
nothing gets done by a committee. Nothing gets done by a committee.
I want to bring it back to feminism because I want to
answer the question.
I think feminism is a key component in relationship breakdown. There was a story several years ago where in New York, women in their 30s could not find men who made as much or more than they did. Mm-hmm. And it was like a shock to the system. All these writers, these are female writers for various opinion outlets saying, why can't we find good men? And it's, because they weren't attracted to guys who made less and they didn't want to be with younger guys. So the guys who were the same age as them, who made $50,000 a year, were like, I can date a 24-year-old woman, somebody who wants to have a family and is younger. So guys are aiming for younger women, but women are being told to get jobs and have careers. But you mentioned guys aren't stepping up. I think this creates an inverse problem where for young men, they're either struggling to date because younger women can date older guys through dating apps, or women, why buy the cow when you get the milk for free? If you know what I mean.
Like you can have sex without like.
These guys who are young are like, I don't need a job. I don't need status because if I go to the club and spend $15 on booze, I get laid.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I just think that like this is like the trade-off of agency, right? Like agency is one of the most important things that we can have, the ability to choose, right? Because if you don't have agency, you can't choose to do noble and good things. You can't choose to do bad things. And so I would agree that like when I look at the modern dating culture, first of all, the 24-year-old girls are not like, I'm so ready to settle down and have kids. Right. They're like, these are the people you're calling whores half the time, right? And so
they used to be. People used to get married and have kids at 22.
Sure, but we also died at 55 around the same time.
No, we didn't.
Yeah.
That is not correct.
Yeah.
We did have a lower life expectancy.
We had a much shorter life expectancy.
The shorter life expectancy was due to the infant mortality rate. People actually who survived infancy would live for a very long time. But while people are expectancy...
Men were dying in mines.
They're not at 55.
No, men were dying in mines and women were also dying in childbirth.
And while life expectancy has increased by a few years recently...
A lot.
That isn't changing the fact that society used to be very different. Women in pre-feminism were focused on families, and the big social deal was who are you going steady with and who you're having a family with. I'm not saying society should be that way, but when that's gone and women start prioritizing what job am I going to have?
Yeah.
You're not going to have families at 22 like we used to anymore. And now we're in a fertility crisis and we've got no young people. Gen Alpha is only 40 million people. It is half the size of the millennials.
Sure. So to this, I would basically say I agree that there has been a lot of cons that have come with giving women agency. I think giving women agency is actually like a deontological good. Letting people choose means that they have the choice to choose the noble things. This is really, really important in Western society specifically. This is the foundation of what we believe in the American project. And so, yes, women back then didn't have as many choices. They couldn't own private property. They basically had to be married to a man to have any access or rights or power.
They couldn't have a credit card till the 80s.
Exactly, right? So women had
better times, less debt.
Women had less agency. Women had less agency. But I would argue that that was a moral failing of society. And just because the outcomes right now might be worse, that doesn't necessarily mean that this is not something that we fundamentally value. We value in America giving people choice.
I hear that. I remember, last week we had this big debate on police, and I think the shortcomings for Michael Malice, which I respect the guy, he's a good friend, but he kept saying police were bad. And it sounded like all he was saying was, yes, there are big problems with police and there's no alternative, or the system will always be bad in some way, but there is a worse. So I look at this now and I'm like, okay, I agree to a certain degree on the deontological aspect of people should have free choice. You want to have a job, you can do it. You want to have finances, all that's fine. Is the end result then the Gen Alpha is 40 million and collapsing, and there won't be any humans in the future, or cities are going to start shrinking, infrastructure is going to start crumbling, and we're going to go, it was a moral good to make sure that we had this semblance of equality under the law, and then society was destroyed by it.
Well, equity of agency does mean bad outcomes sometimes. The issue is that I'm not opposed to people strongly.
Which proves that when women have agency, things go bad.
No, actually, when most people have agency, people make terrible choices, right? When we give young men free agency, what's the window where young men do the most crime? It's typically the ages where they get the most amount of agency. People, when they are given choice, often choose poorly, but that's not the reason we don't give them choice. Because if we don't give them choice, they are enslaved to correct action because of necessity. And that's not the world that we want to live in. We want people to choose the noble thing because they are choosing to do so.
Now, here's the thing. Wait, I see your perspective with agency. I see that, but we need to be honest with women. The problem is that we're not honest with women, right? We don't tell them, look, if you want to pursue a career, you want to make money, your chances of finding a guy down the road are going to be significantly harder. We don't tell them if you decide to be promiscuous now, it's going to cost you later on. We tell women they should be able to do whatever they want and not deal with consequences of their actions. In other words, go ahead and be on OnlyFans and you'll still find a guy that's 6'3", making $100,000 a month that's going to take you seriously. It's not going to happen.
Sure,
so we're not honest with women about what happens. And the reason why is because women don't really deal with the consequences of their bad decisions a lot of times until it's too late. At least with men, if I'm a loser, I have to deal with the consequences of being a loser. Women don't. We don't tell them the truth. Because financially, there's no incentive to tell women the truth because women are consumers. So we want to tell them what sounds good so they continue to consume.
Bro, real quick, it's like how Unilever owns Ben & Jerry's and they own Dove's Real Beauty campaign. It's like telling all these women, hey, you're beautiful if you're fat. By the way, here's our ice cream. Eat more of it.
Yeah. We don't tell women the truth, which is one of my biggest problems. Like if we want to give them agency, that's fine. But at least let's let them know this is what your agency comes with, and if you decide to go down this road, this was going to happen. We don't tell women the truth, which is one of the biggest issues.
I'm totally with you, actually. So one of my biggest frustrations with feminism, as somebody who's defending feminism, which is funny because feminists really don't like me a lot of the time, is that I think that we have done a lot of infantilizing of women. I think that infantilizing of women was a form of sexism that came with low agency. And the issue is that women are being like, we want agency, but also baby us. And I think that that's a bad thing. The issue is that I have no issue with you saying, women, you should have a family. It's the thing that you will come to love the most. You should be more careful in who you're selecting. I don't have any issue with this. I have an issue with you taking away my rights because that takes away my agency.
Well, a lot of times we have to take your agency away so you make the right decisions. That's the problem.
Well,
and that's how it used to work for a very long time.
That's
because
not meaningful.
When you leave women, well, here's the thing. When you leave women to their own devices, they make really bad decisions.
When you leave men to their own devices, they make bad
decisions. Look at the way society is now, where the nuclear family is crumbling. When you give women their own decisions, they make really bad decisions. This is why the father was so important, because we would keep our daughters off the strip poles and our sons out of jail. At least with men, however, when we do dumb shit, we deal with consequences. With
How many men are addicted to porn?
They don't deal with consequences.
How many men are addicted to porn?
Here's the thing, though. They're addicted to porn because you're right. But again, they deal with consequences for being fucking losers. Women don't. That's my point.
Women do because they turn.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Of course they do. You already said that if they go on and they have all this career and stuff, they're going to be less likely to find a man. That is the consequence of their choice.
But they don't find out till it's too late, is my point.
The issue is that most men who are addicted to porn don't discover how much it's fucking up their sex lives until they actually get a girlfriend and they can't inside their girlfriend. That's the issue with porn addiction.
Sure.
So
Wait,
typically,
hold on. Myron, you want to ban porn?
Do I? Man, it has a lot of. Dude, I'm very close to. Yeah,
he wants a nanny state, guys.
I think it needs to be regulated in a way. I think we need to regulate it.
You want to ban porn?
I think it's
No.
a problem.
No.
You don't. But what about all those problems you just named?
Again, I don't want to ban drugs, even though drugs cause addiction a lot of time. I
So,
want
okay.
people to make choices, and I want there to be off-ramps for bad choices as much as possible. But at the end of the day, I want people to make a noble choice. If I sit my kid down, hold on. If I sit my kid down and I say carrots or broccoli, and they choose carrots, I'm not going to be like, wow, my kid's picking healthy food. No, they were forced to the correct action by necessity. I don't want that
What if
society.
you had ice cream today? What if you said broccoli, carrots, ice cream? What are they going to
Now
pick?
they have agency.
And what are they going to pick?
They're probably going to pick ice cream for a long
Fuck
time.
yeah, ice cream every time.
Yeah.
So
until
here's,
they
here's,
get tummy
here's,
aches
here's my
and then
question.
they stop.
This is not to agree or disagree, but it's a philosophical moral question.
Yeah.
You keep saying, yes, these bad things are going to happen, but we should be able to choose.
Yes.
If that system leads to the end of humanity, is it the right choice?
That system has led to America as it is today, and I think America.
No, that's not correct.
It
well,
absolutely
technically
is.
it is.
Hold on.
With all its crime and
well, what is
dysfunction.
Western civilization? Western civilization is Greek philosophy, it's Roman bureaucracy and law, and it is Christian theology. That's the foundations of Western society. And all of these systems value individualism. It values your ability to make choices, including bad choices.
So let me ask you: is it like it's nice to have your door open on a nice, cool summer night? You know,
Sure.
it feels good. And then at 3 a.m, one day a guy breaks into your house. Yes, you can mention that there are good systems that lead to comfortability and success, but eventually those can create security problems for your society, which creates the ebb and flow of security states.
Exactly, but
The
this is
problems
why
are going to get so bad that more Myrons are going to start emerging because they're going to say, crime is way too high. Women keep voting for Democrats overwhelmingly, and whether the reason is that women vote for Democrats, that's what they identify, and then it's going to lead to some kind of social disorder and then an authoritarian shift.
Sure. So there's this.
Kamala would
I
be
wish
president right now if we had to rely on female votes. She would literally
Probably
be president right now.
Yeah. So
That's bad.